Good afternoon, and welcome to our webinar, SPC Intrusion Systems. So this will be an introduction. My name is Jeff Rushton, and I'm going to be your presenter for today. So I'm glad to have you along. But just before we get started, for those that haven't joined us before, I'll run through some of the main points that I'd like you to remember. Firstly, that you will see that you are currently muted. Please remain this way for the remainder of the webinar. If you have any questions, please type them here and then hit the send button. If we have time, I'll attempt to answer them during the course of the webinar, or if not, I'll certainly email you the answer directly after. And if there's any handouts available for this webinar, and there is, you can download them by clicking on the handout section, and you can download those to your computer. But before we get started with the panel, I guess you may be wondering who Vanderbilt are. So Vanderbilt's head office is in Germany, and it's a wholly owned subsidiary of Vanderbilt Industries in the States. Vanderbilt purchased the Siemens Products Group back in 2015. And before that, in 2005, Siemens acquired SPC from a company called iMetrix. iMetrix owned Europlex, and these are the guys that developed the SPC product range in the first place. All R&D for the Vanderbilt products is in Ireland, and for SPC, it's always been in Ireland. Vanderbilt is now the largest independent business of its kind in the security industry. Vanderbilt is owned by Access Control Related Enterprises, and that was founded by Joe Grillo. Joe was named the most influential person in the security and fire industry for 2016. And up until last July, ACRE also owned Mercury Security. Mercury developed products for many of the industry's largest players, and some of these guys are probably going to be more than familiar to you. In 2016, ACRE acquired Comnet and also ACT, or Access Control Technologies. In fact, that will be the discussion on next week's webinar. But now let's get into the panel, SPC. What is it? It's a scalable, multi-language system with an embedded web server. It has many access control features, and it has advanced security functions for banks and financial institutions. It also has inbuilt audio and video verification. The product also has an extensive software suite, and it talks to a secure cloud portal that we call SPC Connect. SPC also has a number of third-party integrations to things like home automation, access control, and CCTV systems as well. If we look at the numbers, we can see the difference between the three models available. The SPC 4000 series has 4 areas, 32 zones, and up to 30 outputs. The 5000 series has 16 areas, 128 zones and outputs, while the 6000 has up to 60 areas and 512 zones and outputs. The systems range from as low as 4 doors up to 64. They all have the embedded web server and Ethernet connection, and the larger 2 panels have got an increased event log. So there's a 10,000 log event and a 10,000 access control event history. The overview that I'm showing you here highlights all of the various modules and software that we'll be discussing on some upcoming slides. If you haven't already done so, now's probably a good time to download the brochures and the manuals from your GoToWebinar control panel in the handout section. The three different panels also come with three different size metalworks, and they're available for most of the models. We have a G2 cabinet that can fit the panel, a 7 amp hour battery, and one of the expander boards in it. The G3 is a little bit bigger. It has a hinge door and it has a drop down PCB plate, so we can fit 4 expanders and a larger 17 amp hour battery. Then there's the mother of all beasts, the G5 cabinet. We can fit 6 expanders in that, and it can hold 2 24 amp hour batteries. There's 3 different styles of keypads available as well. The smaller one, the 4 series, has got a 2x16 character display, and it can come with or without a prox reader fitted. The 5 and 6 series keypads have got a 128x64 pixel graphical display, and they can come with a prox and MyFair readers, and also a microphone and speaker as options. The mic and speaker allow for two-way communication with either the app, which I'll show you a bit later, or the control room that is running the COM-XT SPC software. Both the 5 and the 6 series keypads can be flush mounted, and you can display a custom logo of your choice on them. And any combination of the keypads can be used with any panel. As for the expanders, we have 8 input or 8 output boards, as well as 2-door intelligent controllers. There's also optional spots on the PCB for plug-in boards like a PSTN modem or a 3G modem. There's also additional power supplies that are fully monitored, and they can add up to an additional 2 amps of current to help power the various modules and keypads that you have connected. One of the nice features is the optional indication expander. It has 16 tricolor LEDs, a card reader, and 4 programmable buttons on the unit. This addition can make for a great mimic panel for a system requiring a quick visual indication of anything on the system state at all. Funnily, a multi-language system in Australia may not appear an important option, but for any international company with offices around the world, now means the keypad can display the home language of the user. Another benefit, though, that we can utilize here is that now any of the menu text on the keypad or in the system can be customized for either a particular customer or a particular application. So it's extremely configurable. There are many, many features available on this panel, some of which I'll talk about now. Firmware updates can be done direct from the web browser. Also, automatic addressing and discovery of all the modules on the system can be accomplished. The end-of-line values are fully programmable, And there's even including triple end-of-line resistance values for anti-mask detectors. There's a buzzer in each module, so you can easily identify on site where they're located. There's a startup wizard to set up the hardware and the type of panel. And more importantly for us, it comes with Australian Standard AS2201 as a selectable option during that wizard. There's a variety of options for calendars. There's cause and effect triggers. There's audio and video verification. There's multiple event reporting profiles. There's also multiple status pages to see the entire state of the system, including any voltages and current of important system components. It also records all the zone resistance on all open and closes and gives you the ability to track resistant changes to maybe detect future faults. When it comes to access control features, there's many options for controlling the system on card badging, like badge to disarm, double badge to arm, anti-passback, escort, and custodian control. They're all standard features within the system. When you attach a reader, they're automatically enrolled and with the correct card format automatically being selected. So there's nothing you need to program or set up when you attach a card reader. When you're using the audio or the video verification, the microphone from selected keypads or audio expanders can be attached to a zone. So on alarm, the audio is recorded and sent to a control room. The same applies for up to 4 IP cameras. The RT-SP stream from these cameras is transmitted on alarm with easy to view pre and post images for verification. Live look-in, if you've enabled it, is available from the app or from the control room if it's using the COM-XT SPC software. One of the huge benefits of SPC is the bus configuration for the modules. We can get up to 50 kilometers of total bus length as each module within the system regenerates a signal. Multiple configurations are possible, including spur, token, or loop, ensuring just about any wiring configuration can be supported. So in programming the system, we can do that in a variety of ways. Firstly, we can do it through the keypad. Just about all programming options can be done direct at the keypad, or we can do it direct through any web browser that's connected on the same network as the panel. And with that, there's no need to install any software at all. Or if you love software, you can also connect using the SPC Pro download software. And beyond that, you can use any web browser anywhere in the world using the SPC Connect cloud portal. So we'll have a look at each of these things a little bit later. So the web server is a logical, easy to navigate menu structure in a graphical format. So what I might quickly do now is jump over to a web browser. This might need me to log on again. So I've just started up my Internet Explorer, or Edge in this case, logged on to the IP address of the panel and logged in with a valid username and password. Very quickly from here, from this very clean screen, we can see that the system is turned off or unset. In this case, we can arm it directly by pushing this button and it tells us now that the system is full set. I'll just turn that off for a sec. We can also see that there is no active alerts on the system. There's nothing preventing the system from arming, and there's no existing inhibits or isolates within the system. So a very clean, straightforward screen here. So the screen that we logged on with is pretty much a status view of the current state of the system. We can see any current active alarms if they're shown here, and we can show up to 4 cameras on our system. So I've got 4 cameras here on our system here in the office that's viewing, in this case, a static view. On the app, they'll update about once a second is what you can realistically expect. If we go to this status or a bunch of status pages here, straight away from here we can see key things that are easily to highlight if there's an issue or a problem on the system. And a general rule, anything that's green is good, anything that is red is not so good. So we can see that here all of our tampers, all of our X bus is the communication bus for all of the modules is all okay. We can see that there are 6 devices. I've got 3 keypads, a 2-door controller, and a few other things, obviously, connected on here at the moment. So we can see here that we have a PSTN modem connected and my IP address details. We can go along here and get a glimpse of all of the zones on our system. So zone, area, the type. The number in the brackets is the current end-of-line resistance value. The fact that it's green and saying good is telling me that I have got an end-of-line resistance of 2.1K or 2.2K is what it should be, that I have programmed it as a 2.2K end-of-line resistance, and it's currently a closed contact and it's in its normal state. In real time, these values here will change dependent on the end-of-line value. When it gets outside its parameters, we'll see different colors and different wording to indicate the state of each of our zones. On every zone that we've got, we have a log file folder. What this does is show us, even when the panel is disarmed, every opening and every closing that this zone has made. So I can see here the time and date and 2.2, 2.2, all the way down for quite a while. From a technician's point of view, this gives you a great insight as to confirming that that zone is operating, even when the panel is disarmed. It's giving you insight to showing you what the resistance value was over time for this zone. And this can highlight any changes or high resistance or low resistance or whatever problems that you may potentially have with a zone on your system. If I go back to inputs, we can isolate or inhibit or soak test a zone, and that depends on the type of zone that we've got here. So inhibit means isolate that zone until the next arming cycle. Isolate means to isolate that zone forever until someone physically unisolates that zone. And soak means keep that zone working, but don't send any alarms through to the control room for a period of time. By default, that's 2 weeks. So we can put a zone on a soak test that was playing up to confirm that we fixed it before we actually put it back into service. We can see the state of our outputs. Now, I've said that the panel has 6 outputs. The outputs that it's showing us here are outputs that we've programmed that allow us, or the end user, to turn that output on or off manually. Maybe a roller door, a front door, something of that effect. So we can turn on or off that output by pressing the corresponding button. If we have any doors connected, I can see the state of the door, the state of the exit egress button, which I don't have on this system, telling me the door is normal, that it is closed and locked. And we can have a look at the history on that particular door and who's gone through it. Or we can lock down that door, which means any valid cards will no longer work. We can unlock that door, means the obvious, or we can momentarily open that door for the access time, and then it will relock or go back to its normal state. Flexi is Vanderbilt's proprietary protocol, which talks to a whole host of things. In this case, we've set it up to talk to the SPC Connect cloud portal, and we can see that the status is okay, and the last time it polled was 22 seconds ago. From here, we can see a variety of logs, and we can see the registration ID that we need to program in the portal in order for us to have access to this particular panel. It also lists all of our soft alarms and the status of those, and we can isolate or inhibit each of those if we need to. I might just quickly show you if we go into installer mode or engineer mode, as Vanderbilt call it. If we go to configuration, I'll just quickly show you inputs. So for each input on the system, actually I might just do it from here. So controller inputs is showing the 8 zones on the panel itself. We can pick a variety of end-of-line values that can be unique for each zone. Give it a name, give it a type, give it an area if we have more than one area, and then dependent on the type, we can have a bunch of attributes that we can typically turn on or off or pick from a drop-down menu. One of the big advantages of having inbuilt Ethernet and the web server on board is we can include help text. So no longer do we need to pull that manual out of the car or attempt to find it from somewhere. The majority of the options here have a descriptive text that allow us to determine what that option does and whether we want it or not. The programming of this system follows exactly the guidelines that we've seen here. There are drop-down menus, text entry boxes, or checkboxes. And that's pretty much as complicated as the programming on this system gets. So this isn't a technical training, this is really a sales training, which I've probably gone a little bit too far into, but it just is showing you the ease that we can set up a system through the web browser with very little knowledge. Just need to know the IP address and a username and password on the system. To continue on with the presentation here, as seen, everything can simply be programmed with the web browser and there's no other software that is required. In saying that, there is a full suite of products also. SPC Connect Pro is a download software package that basically allows you to combine your local panel programming and the discovery with all of the panels that you've configured within the cloud service. So then you get provided with a seamless list of available panels that you can program, whether they're local or in fact located anywhere. The SPC Connect portal allows for the ability to offer a variety of services, not limited to things like controlling your system, excuse me, with your Apple or your Android app. It can allow for automated backups and reporting, automated firmware updates, and audio and video alarm storage. SPC Com XT is the software that's typically located in your monitoring center, in your control room, to control the various functions that are unique to SPC. And SPC Manager makes user control a breeze because it allows you to manage multiple users that have their details automatically update to all the panels that they have access to. The SPC Cloud service provides a number of value-added services to help your business and your customer. Firstly, it's the link to the mobile apps. Secondly, it provides automated system backups each night and monthly reports on system status. It can store up to 12 months worth of audio and video alarm history. It can send push notifications for alarms and a dozen other states directly to your mobile device. It can automatically upgrade system firmware at set times. And you can also send push notifications to your customer groups for things like specials or general notices or maybe account information from your system. So it's available for iOS, Android, and Windows 10. The SPC app allows for full control of your system, including arming and disarming an area, isolate and de-isolate any zone, view the event or the access log, operate any output, or open or momentary open or lock an access door. You can also view any of the 4 cameras, or the ability to have a two-way conversation with anyone at a keypad while viewing the associated camera. The app can also send, as I've said, push notifications for alarms, troubles, open and closes, and more. Maps can also be loaded, and icons for any or all functions can be overlaid on a map for easy operation. I'm going to quickly see if I can bring up my phone. So you should see my phone and the SPC Connect app. I'm going to log into the panel that I previously connected into here. From the top, I can see that it is currently unset. I can arm it by pushing the full set button. It's gone off arm the panel, and I've also set up push notifications for open and closes. So I should get a notification come up in a couple of seconds saying that the panel has been full set. I can hit OK just to clear that. I'll hit the unset padlock to unlock the or unset the panel. You can see here that I've only got one area, Alarm Corp Office. If I did have more areas, they would be shown, or I could highlight and go into an area and turn that area on or off individually. I have set up a number of what we call a verification zone. A verification zone is a zone on the system that has a camera and potentially a microphone connected to it via the software. So if I go in and have a look at the first one, showroom, it will load an image of the picture that I have for the showroom. There's a little microphone icon here. If I click on that and talk, it's now sending what I'm saying through the microphone of my phone down to the speaker on the keypad that I've associated with this zone. And I can listen in to what's happening at that keypad as well. So here I've got two-way simplex communication with a keypad and video through the system straight up. I can do that on any number of verification zones. Just know that I'm limited to 4 cameras on this system. I can go along and click up the top and click on my zones. It's showing me that all of the zones are green or okay, they're all secure. I can log into a zone, view the log, or isolate that zone as well. Any doors on the system, I can click on that office door, momentary open it, and it will open it for, I think, 5 seconds and then lock it again is what I've set it for. Any outputs that we've got, so that LED sign was one of them. I can turn that on. or I can turn that off directly from here. Down the bottom, I can view a map. So I've got a very nasty little map of our office here, and I've moved down all the various icons so I can see the state of this camera, for example. Take a couple of seconds to load. Or the state of the system, I can arm it. Office door, I can momentarily unlock it from here. So anything on this, any of these icons on this map, I can access that function directly. I can view any of my cameras in single screen or quad. I can look at my log files. This is the general system log of everything that's happening or happened on the system. Or my access log, every time that somebody has opened or used a door. It's actually updating quite slowly on the screen here. It's working fine on my phone. It's just working a bit slow on the system. We can have multiple sites that we can control from this app. So you can see that it's a very nice, slick, just turn this off now, system for controlling your alarm or your access control odds and ends from your mobile device. Continuing on, one of the most flexible functions though is the ability to send the right events to the right location. Here we can have up to 10 different transmission paths if needed and decide what events are sent out under what conditions. They can be primary or they can be backup paths. So Flexi, as I said, is Vanderbilt's proprietary format and it's used for all of these functions. The Ethernet monitoring frequency over your IP can be adjusted to suit your security risk, and it can range from about an 8-second poll to over a 24-hour poll on the system. SPC integrates with quite a number of third-party complementary systems. The important ones for Alarm Corp are the integration to our other products. So for access control, SPC integrates into our ACT, or our ACT product that we'll be talking about next week, and also to SIPASS, which is our top-end access control system. For CCTV, it talks to our Cayuga VMS system and also talks to a range of the Vanderbilt Avensis NVRs. It also integrates with a number of PSIM applications that we have listed here. Beyond that, a bunch of home automation and normal automation systems we can connect to via a third-party interface. And a range of monitoring platforms in control rooms. SPC talks directly to these systems. Okay, I'm going to add a couple of slides on all my webinars from now on, starting with things I like. So for some of you, you're going to be saying, Rusho, just because I know you doesn't mean I agree with you. And for everyone else out there, it will be Jeff, I've never heard of you before today, so your opinion means diddly squat to me. Fair enough. Both those responses are a bit harsh, but fair. But what I would like to think is, the fact that we're all in the same industry, so our thoughts and expectations may not be the same, but I'm sure they're going to be similar. So things that I consider important in no particular order. Firstly, the customer experience. I would like to think my customers' needs and expectations are met from both a product, a solution, and a service offering. And next, the same sort of goes for the installer experience. I would like to ensure that the delivery of the product, the training, the ease of installation and service, as well as maybe price competitiveness, have all been met and addressed. And lastly, uniqueness. I want to offer something that has a level of difference to that of my opposition that can either help me win a job or maybe reduce my expenses or hopefully increase my income. So since this is a sales presentation and not a technical one, these are the things that I personally like about SPC. You may have different opinions, but these are mine, the things that I like about it. One is it's proven. This particular product has been around for about 15 years now, so I know it works. The fact that it's 15 years old doesn't make it old because new features are being added to the panel and to the cloud service all of the time. But one of the advantages of having something that has got hardware that's been around for a while with new software is, in our case, even the oldest system out there in the field, it can be upgraded to the latest firmware with no hardware change. So to me, that's a big plus. Next thing that I really enjoy is the web server. The ease of programming, as I've quickly shown you, is to me by far the easiest, most intuitive menu layout around. It has lots of it's a feature-rich product. But from what we've done and what we've seen, it is considerably cheaper than all the other high-end panels that are currently out on the market. Number 4, this is where my level of uniqueness comes in. It's relatively new to Australia, so it's not really a standard offering by a lot of companies yet. So meaning that you wouldn't be competing against other companies quoting exactly the same thing. Also, the SPC cloud service. I really do see this as the future for SPC and for most likely probably for just about every other panel in the market in due course as well. SPC Connect adds direct value to your offering to either upsell your customer by providing a high level of service than is currently available in the market today. And maybe not last, but last on my list here today is the app. I really do like the app. It's a great app. In saying that, it probably wouldn't be overly too fair if I didn't include this page as well. So I'm a bit fussy and there's few things in this world that are perfect. So I'm going to highlight some of the things that I don't overly like about the system. With the compact keypad, the larger style keypad, I love it. It actually is a great keypad. The display is clear. The keypad is nice to touch and operate, but the plastics are a little bit dated. The smaller keypad as well isn't that much better. So plastics wise, it could look a little bit nicer. Regardless of the panel that you pick, the 4000, 5000 or 6000 series, you are limited to 4 cameras. And so we can only have 4 cameras used for verification. And in fairness, that isn't enough for a panel of this particular size. So to me, that is a limitation. But knowing that it's limited to 4 cameras means that you're really not going to get stuck by selling it in a situation where you've expected that you're going to get more out of it. The modem. There's a plug-in modem that's limited to 3G at the moment. It works fine, it does everything that it should, but at the moment there isn't a 4G option. Hopefully in time that will be available. And The fourth point that I've got here, European design. That's not a bad thing, but it's based on European standards. So it has features inbuilt within the panel that aren't really applicable to Australia. Maybe in the future, when, if Australia catches up with the rest of the world, these features may be useful, but at the moment, they're not so much. So there's additional features there that you don't have to program, but there's additional features there that you'd look at and think, yeah, what's that about? We don't use that in this country. But maybe just in summary with this is the advantages or the highlights that I would like to summarize with SPC are it's IP enabled with an inbuilt web server. Great way to program the panel, very intuitive, very clean solution. It has built-in video and audio verification for both control room use, but I would say it's mainly for pushing that information to and from a mobile device. A plain English menu that's very easy to navigate, and 99% of the programming can be done through a keypad if you wished. Other systems out there, you're forced to use a browser or a download package. This, if your laptop's in the car and the battery's flat, you can do just about everything from the keypad if you need to. 4, it has very flexible communication bus and wiring to enable an easy retrofit with pretty much any other system that's out there in the market today. The one glance page to see the entire state of the system, making installation and service and fault finding, to me, a breeze. The SPC Connect cloud service with its value-added services like automated backup, reporting, diagnostics, and video alarm storage. The ability to access all of your panels on the move and from any location. Really, it's just another point to that SPC Connect cloud service. With your installer account, you can have as many panels as you want and access all of them from anywhere with the latest information to all of your staff at all times. And for us, the integration with Act Pro, which is our mid-range access control system, our SiPass integrated, which is our top enterprise access control solution, and the Quantify Cayuga VMS software. Integrates seamlessly and for free with each of these systems. Where's the best place to find more info? First and foremost, I'm going to say our YouTube site. If we quickly just have a real quick look at our YouTube site, we have videos on just about everything that you would want, but ultimately what we're looking for here is under the Vanderbilt product videos, there is a SPC intrusion panel tutorial. In here, there's 60 odd, 70 odd videos on just about everything that you would ever need in relation to installing, servicing, programming, pulling it out of the box. There'll be a video here that will answer that question for you, or those questions that you have for you. So it's a great resource, not just from SPC, but pretty much from all of our products perspective. There's also the Vanderbilt SPC support page. If you go type in spcsupportinfo.com, all the resources for the SPC product are located there for you. If you'd like to know more, good thing to do is to visit alarmcorp.com.au, and from there you can subscribe to our Pulse newsletter, or you can register online to receive full access to our e-commerce platform including pricing, order placement, and all the technical manuals for all of our products as well. If you need more info, you can contact myself or you can contact Chris Ireland. Our details are there. If in doubt, you can just reply to the email that will be sent to you after this webinar, and I can forward any of the details that you are requesting. Next Tuesday at this time, we'll be looking at the ACT Enterprise introduction. So ACT is an IP-based system that is a very cost-effective solution. Following that, on the next Tuesday, we'll be looking at our full enterprise solution from SciPass. SciPass is virtually unlimited in scope and introduction, and both of these systems, as I've already said, integrate well with SPC. So I'd be more than happy for you to join us at either of these two. If you did want to register, you could just head over to our webpage at alarmcorp.com.au and look under resources webinars, and you'll see the link for that which you can sign up for. Failing that, we love sending out emails, so about this time tomorrow you will receive a link in any case via email telling you about the upcoming ACT Enterprise introduction. So ideally, if you could sign up for that, and we could see you then. But certainly for now, this is the end of today's webinar. I really appreciate your time today, and I certainly understand how precious it is and hope you have found it beneficial. And we look forward to presenting further webinars for you in the future. So for now, it's goodbye, and enjoy the remainder of your day.